motion is when people keep moving or objects keep moving, and usually it indicates that there is a direction of some sort when you are moving ahead or moving backwards. There is a direction. So with that direction also, I'd like to mention a few phrases that come with movement, and one of them is going with the flow. For example, people talk about going with the flow in some situations, and other phrases are things like gathering momentum. How do you gather momentum? And various people have various ways of gathering momentum. But the interesting thing is that when you have momentum, when you gather speed, and when you have direction, and there is motion, all that in combination, you will actually find that there are lots of people who follow in the wake, and you create that wake. You don't know it because it's behind you, but in that wake there are lots of people who also start gathering momentum because they are trying to follow your speed, your direction, your motion in going forward. And there is another phrase, to help it on its way. So there are lots of things that happen that help you along the way to get into that motion, get into the swing of things. One phrase that I really like is when I watch cricket sometimes, there is an announcer, or quite a few announcers, who always say that the batsman is using the pace of the bowler, and that is a nice phrase. I like that, because instead of going head on and facing the bowler and just trying to hit the ball back to him in the opposite direction, you're actually using the pace of the bowler. You're meeting the ball, and you're not fighting with it, you're just helping it on its way. So you can deflect it in any direction you choose, but you're using that pace to get the direction that you want, the movement that you want. Now the opposite of all this is not moving ahead, of course. It's hitting a brick wall. These are phrases that come up when someone hits a brick wall that indicates that they're not going any further. The brick wall's there, you're dead stop. You meet something head on, there is confrontation, there is an impasse. And when you have that sort of situation, it is hard to move in any direction because you're stopped in your tracks, of course. And one of the things that I love watching probably are ants. I remember watching strings of ants going in a direction, and if you watch ants when they move, they follow each other, of course, and they seem to know where they're going because they're all heading in the one direction. And if there is something in the path of the ants, for example a big boulder, and that's not a problem at all for the ant. The boulder is about 2 million times the size of the ant probably, but the ant, it must have a thinking cap all the time, because the ant knows, and they all make an executive decision what to do about that boulder. They actually decide they're going to go around it. But that's not going to change their direction. They're going to still go around the boulder, they're still going to head in the same direction, they're still going to keep up their motion, and that is something that I have to learn to do. If there are boulders that are put in my path, I have to find a solution. I have to find a way to get around the boulder, get around the hurdle that's been put there in front of me. And that is part of life. It's finding ways, finding solutions, so that you never miss the direction you're going, you never miss the goal that you have placed in front of you. you just head in that direction. And that is what is a big learning curve for all of us. And it is also enjoyable to find solutions if there are problems. All the best.